Hey everyone, it's Michelle Leith with UnlockYourPossibility.com. Welcome to a very special Thanksgiving episode of Thirsty Thursday, where we talk about unlocking your possibilities, get thirsty for a little bit more excitement and ease in life, and I share some of my favorite tips and strategies to help you find greater happiness. So, for the last couple of weeks, I have been talking about possibility bandits that can really interfere with us having a healthy relationship with food. And on no day of the year is this more pertinent than Thanksgiving, probably our single most food-focused holiday. And if you are someone who really looks forward to Thanksgiving and you just love it, that's awesome. But if you're one of the 30 million or so people who really struggles with food and eating weight and body image, it can be a really tough day. And I know this from personal experience. When I dealt with my own food issues for many years, Thanksgiving was really one of the hardest days of the year. It's like an alcoholic being confronted, with being at a bar and being confronted with all of, your demons, basically. So what I want to share with you today is some strategies that you can use to create a healthier relationship with food for yourself and also get the most out of this holiday without guilt, without shame, and actually keeping your metabolism up. So I want to give you two of my favorite tips, or my best tips for getting through the Thanksgiving holiday. One is remember to breathe. So before you sit down to eat, before you begin to eat your meal, take a few deep breaths. Throughout the meal, stop and remind yourself to take a few deep breaths. This is, number one, a powerful metabolism booster. It will actually increase your ability to burn calories. It also is really good at keeping you grounded and present and can really help reduce some of the anxiety that comes with eating, with your family if they stress you out and some of those family dynamics. And it can really just kind of help you keep in a much more emotionally balanced place. So again, remember to breathe. And the second tip is if you wake up tomorrow and think, oh my God, I've overdone it, whatever you do, don't go and jump on the dieting train. Don't decide to restrict yourself and skip breakfast and lunch to make up for it. This will, number one, actually slow your metabolism down and make it more likely that your body will store any, extra calories as fat. But it also will have you in a place of self-judgment and also potentially set you up for cravings or overeating later on. So you may find yourself getting to a point where you're starving and then, by Friday night you're raiding the refrigerator going to town on all the leftovers. So again, it really doesn't really get you where you want to go. So if you feel that way, remember, normal eating fluctuates. Your body knows what to do, and just trust yourself. Don't judge yourself. Get up the next morning and try to resume your normal routine as best you can. And if you want to move a little bit extra that day, but not in a punishing way, do that if that helps you to feel better. But restricting yourself is not the way to go. Give yourself permission to enjoy the holiday, and you'll feel so much better later on. And you're actually, like I said, your metabolism is going to thank you for it. So the possibility bandit that I wanted to talk to you about that can really impact your choices around food, both today and in general, is the possibility bandit I call shoulds. And this is what we say to ourselves about 1 million times a day. I should do this, I shouldn't do that, I should, make my bed. It can be as benign as that to, I should drop what I'm doing to help this demanding person in my life because otherwise they won't like me. So shoulds can really come into play in how you interact with food and your choices, especially when you say things to yourself like, I should be a size 6, or I should be good today because I was bad yesterday. A lot of self-judgment there, right? Or I should only eat 1,200 calories a day, or I shouldn't eat this stuffing because it's going to make me fat, or just all these shoulds and all these things that we tell ourselves can really actually cause you to rebel sometimes, but really what happens is they take you out of your personal power, and they are a total setup for self-judgment, because what happens if you don't follow through with the should, right? You end up judging yourself or criticizing yourself or thinking that you've blown it in some way. So what I encourage you to do when you notice these shoulds coming up is just catch yourself and go, should according to whom? Where did this should come from? And is it really in alignment with what I want? Is it really going to serve me to follow through with this should or shouldn't or whatever it may be? And really think about what you really want in that moment. And also, The other thing you could do is actually think about, well, what's the consequence if I don't do what I should? What are you afraid of? You know, what are you afraid will happen if you don't do what you should, or if you do what you shouldn't? And kind of play that out a little bit, and then you'll start to see most likely that your fear is maybe not, you know, really very likely. A lot of times just voicing our fears can really act like kind of a magic spell to dissipate them. So that's what I suggest you do with your shoulds. So if you get, you know, it's your Thanksgiving dinner and you find yourself thinking, I shouldn't have this pumpkin cheesecake, you know, and you really, really want the pumpkin cheesecake, give yourself permission to have it. Give yourself permission to enjoy it. Give yourself permission to have pleasure in your life, even pleasure that comes from food, and just trust yourself. And that's my tip for you, not only on Thanksgiving, but in general, is just listen up to those shoulds, question them, call them out, and you'll find that you actually make much better choices for yourself and feel a lot happier and lighter when you do that. So that's my Thanksgiving tip for you today. Next week, I'm going to come back and talk to you about another possibility bandit that can really, really wreak havoc on your food choices and your food habits, and that is rules. So stay tuned for that next week. In the meantime, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Be thankful for what you are learning about yourself every single day of your life, because it's helping you to grow. And I will see you guys next week. Cheers.